Hi guys, this is Mia, and this is my presentation for my personal teaching style. So, the teaching style that I liked were progressivism and integrated curriculum. Progressivism, as defined by our textbook, is educational philosophy that emphasizes having curriculum that focuses on real world problem solving and individual development. I really like the focus on real world problems because at the end of the day, when students leave the classroom, grow through the rest of their education, and become adults, they will face real world problems. So we may as well start from a relatively young age how to tackle these said problems. Instead of teaching junior high and high school students vague curriculum, we should also be teaching them the importance of finances, lifestyle, careers, along with our base curriculum of math, science, and English. The next curriculum or the next teaching style I liked was the integrated curriculum, which is described as a curriculum where concepts and skills from various disciplines come together and relate to each other. I like this curriculum style as well because I believe that everything connects and assists someone in one way or another. For example, a research project in biology isn't just an assignment, but teaches students how to be critical researchers and writers in all disciplines. A student will be learning important skills such as taking in consideration things to take in consideration in research such as legitimacy of websites and documents, which will assist them throughout not just their future education but also everyday life, such as deciphering fake versus real news. Another example, public speaking isn't just a terrifying, useless class, which I've heard from various adults as a tutor at City College. Um, if you're public speaking, it prepares students how to communicate professionally through any given career. If you're a biology major intending to go into research, you might be invited one day to give a keynote speech on your findings in a given topic. That's informative speaking. Someone may choose to work in sales. If you're working on a commission, you might try to convince your customer to buy something. That's persuasive speaking. Another thing that I didn't take in consideration until recently is that algebra isn't just a math class. Weird, right? Like algebra, we look at algebra and that's just math. But it's not. It's also a basis to everyday life problem solving. For example, the steps to solve an algebraic equation also prepares us to take the steps to retrace our steps in real life situations. I never realized that retracing my steps to find my keys or phone could be considered algebra and problem solving. Like, who would have thought taking the steps and retracing my steps to where I last went, where I last put my keys, my phone, whatever, would be considered as problem solving. And I think that being able to integrate various disciplines into a subject is really important because at the end of the day, I think they relate together no matter what. So, there are two really important challenges that I would like to tackle within my classroom. One being creating an open and accessible environment for students of color and lower income students and their parents or adults in their lives. I think this is self explanatory. However, creating an open and accessible environment for disadvantaged students and their adults in their life is extremely important to me. I think it's given that a lot of disadvantaged students and adults get put into situations where the student might not understand the class curriculum because they don't relate to it, and then they go home and tell their parents, and their parents or the adult in their life doesn't understand either because it's not relatable. I think it's important to create an environment where all students can be heard and see and share their stories. I would try to integrate other people's cultures within our class topics, such as through books and current events like my 10th grade English teacher would. By having us read books by Asians, Latinos, and other minorities, I think it really helped build the gap where um, where students who were disadvantaged were able to take part in the conversation in class because we were not just reading Shakespeare, but we were also reading about Filipinos and their experience in World War II or the Holocaust, or we were reading books written by Latino authors, I think we were all able to understand curriculum better because we were able to read stories that most of us openly related to. I also acknowledge that all families come from different socioeconomic statuses, and I would like to make curriculum not just accessible for my students, but as well as the adults in their life should they want to be included in what's going on in class on a day-to-day basis. I recently started tutoring a little bit online, and one of the first parents that reached out to me wanted me to tutor her daughter because she was struggling in her English class, and she voiced her worries because she felt bad that as a non-English speaker, she couldn't really assist her daughter in her assignments. And I think it's really important that if a parent should want to be included in their children's work, there should be a way to do that. I don't think a parent should feel bad because they can't help their students. And yeah, I think that's a really extremely important challenge that I want to tackle most importantly in my class. The next one is creating an environment that fosters learning through multiple modes of projects. I believe that not everybody is a great test taker. Not everybody can write a really amazing essay. And I don't think that should be the basis of testing a student's knowledge on a specific topic. So I'd like to foster an environment where students can show their understanding through a choice of project whenever possible. Of course, I realize that this may not be possible to do for every assignment. However, if I can allow my students to be able to choose for, let's say, big term grades such as a midterm or final, this could assist students in their success in my classroom. A little bit of insight of like what I would think I'd want to do as assignments would be speeches or presentations or debates. In my junior year AP English class, instead of showing our understanding of a topic, our teacher would let us do speech or debate style projects. When we read Dead Man Walking, instead of writing papers on arguments or practicing argumentative writing, we were given the assignment to debate the constitutionality of the death penalty through researching death row cases, etc. And based on where we fell in the spectrum of this argument, we would get up and do two-person style debates where one would argue for the death penalty and the other person wouldn't. And I think that was really great to be able to allow students to show their understanding of argumentation through other things such as giving a speech or doing a debate rather than just writing a paper. Another thing I would like to do is hands-on projects. In both my high school dance and English classes, instead of showing our understanding on a topic based on the mode of class, for instance, dance class doing taught choreography or English by writing, we were allowed to do more creative and hands-on projects. For example, in dance, we could just demonstrate our knowledge by creating our own choreography instead of performing someone else's, thus showing our true understanding of dance and choreographic terms. Again, also in English, instead of writing a paper on understanding themes, for example, when we read Macbeth, we were allowed to do more creative projects. I remember me and my friend recreated Macbeth's death scene with a 3D castle we made, and I'm gonna be honest now, I don't really know like what the whole point of that was. I just thought like we just thought at like 16 that it would be cool. But I mean, when we read The Scarlet Letter in, I believe, my AP English class my junior year, some classmates made a parody of the book to show the themes of the text. And I think that's interesting that you can show your understanding of, like, let's say, in my classmates' instance, of the themes of Scarlet Letter through making a parody of the book. I think that's really cool. Another thing I would like to do is critical thinking and real-life applications. Again, in AP English, instead of just doing multiple practice essays and tests based on past tests, our teacher had us read things with real-life applications, such as reading Nickel and Dimed to show us the realities of minimum wage careers and how it affects people's lives, and then had us, in essence, apply that and how minimum wage would later on affect our lives because, I mean, after high school, we all went to work minimum wage jobs. So it was interesting to be able to read that book and then apply that in real life. And last but not least, we have finally arrived to the theory I want to practice in my classroom. The theory I chose was Carol Dweck's Mindset and Implicit Theories of Intelligence. I first learned about this theory while I was a communication studies tutor at City College when a student came and needed help writing a paper. However, the ideologies of this theory have been subconsciously with me for a while. In the Encyclopedia of Personality, Botzwick, Martin, and Tarbecki define Dweck's theory as flexibility and intelligence. Dweck's theory further supports the argument that believing you can do something assists one's growth, which is the growth mindset. I want to practice this theory in class because I believe that half the battle is just believing you can do something. In my interpersonal communications classes, both at State and City College, we have talked about the idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy, which I can see closely relating to Dweck's theory. A self-fulfilling prophecy is basically saying you believe in something and then you say it so much that it kind of comes true. For example, if you believe you're bad at math, there won't be any effort or progress because you'll consistently just be saying, oh, I'm bad at math, I can't do it, I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm not going to succeed, I'm going to fail. However, changing that self-fulfilling prophecy and taking on Dweck's theory, we could see progress in a student's academics, and I think it's really important that a teacher should practice this theory in class. You should, in essence, be telling a student, hey, you can get better at this. It's possible. We can, instead of a student saying, I'm bad at math, I'll never understand it or succeed in it, we can get students to say, I'm not the greatest at math right now, but I believe that I can get better as long as I keep trying. I think it's really important to practice this theory and foster an environment where students can come to believe in themselves, even in the subjects that they may struggle in. Now, finally, we have reached the end. Thank you for sticking through with me. I'm so sorry that this is so long. I like to talk a lot, but I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you guys have a great winter break. Bye, guys!